you ever felt like life is flying by, and suddenly you find yourself reflecting on the years that have passed? Perhaps you've noticed the subtle signs of aging, like the deepening of wrinkles or a slower step. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by these changes. As we age, the speed of life seems to pick up, turning moments into memories in the blink of an eye. But here's a question to ponder. How can we ensure that as we grow older, we not only preserve our dignity, but enhance it? How can we age in such a way that others respect us, not for our age alone, but for the grace and wisdom we carry? Welcome to today's video, where we'll delve into the heart of what it means to age with dignity, wisdom, and poise. Growing older doesn't mean surrendering to life's challenges. It means navigating them with elegance. In today's discussion, we'll explore 5 key behaviors that should be avoided as you journey through your later years. These are not only behaviors that could diminish how others perceive you, but also habits that could impact your inner sense of self-worth. Trust me, these insights are going to change how you view this stage of life, offering you ways to embrace aging with wisdom and respect. Whether you're just beginning to notice the first signs of aging or are well into your golden years, these lessons are for you. Before we begin, if you find value in today's discussion, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and comment down below to let me know what resonates most with you. If you don't like the video, feel free to comment 0, so I know how I can make it better for you. Let's embark on this journey together as we uncover the secrets to aging gracefully. Now, without further ado, let's get started with the first behavior to avoid: monopolizing conversations. 1. Monopolizing conversations. Speak less, listen more. As we age, it's natural to have accumulated countless stories, experiences, and wisdom that we want to share with others. After all, the knowledge gathered over a lifetime can feel like a treasure chest that's just waiting to be opened. But here's the problem. While sharing wisdom is important, constantly dominating conversations can be exhausting for others and may even lead to them avoiding spending time with you. There's an old saying, silence is golden, and as we grow older, this saying becomes even more significant. We've all been there, stuck in a conversation where one person does all the talking, oblivious to whether anyone else wants to contribute. This behavior is especially common among the elderly, who may feel a deep-seated desire to impart their wisdom on younger generations. But here's the key to maintaining dignity and fostering meaningful relationships: balance. Monopolizing a conversation can unintentionally make others feel overlooked or undervalued. Instead, as elders, it's vital to cultivate the art of listening, speaking when necessary, but also giving others the space to express their thoughts. Times have changed. In the past, reaching old age was rare, and the voices of elders were scarce and treasured. Today, however, longer life expectancy means that older generations are more prevalent, and as a result, behaviors like talking too much or raising one's voice can easily draw negative attention rather than respect. It's crucial to remember that the environment we're in matters. Whether on public transportation or in a family gathering, speaking loudly or dominating conversations can lead to being perceived as overbearing. This doesn't mean you shouldn't share your stories, but timing and moderation are key. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about your experiences, but consider this: when we monopolize conversations, we might not realize that others are silently judging us. And in the digital age, where attention spans are shorter than ever, excessive talking can quickly turn into something that others avoid. Moreover, constant talking can be perceived as a way of showing off or asserting dominance. The solution is simple: practice active listening. It's a sign of respect and humility when we give others the chance to speak, share, and feel heard. Listening not only strengthens bonds with family, friends, and even strangers, but it also demonstrates emotional intelligence, something that naturally fosters respect from others. Think of it this way: by speaking less and listening more, you create a space where your presence and wisdom are valued, not because you're the loudest in the room, but because your voice carries meaning. And when you do speak, your words will resonate much more deeply with those around you. 2. Avoid excessive boasting, humility over hubris. As we progress in life, it's natural to feel proud of our achievements, our family, and the experiences that have shaped us. However, when this pride turns into excessive boasting, it can do more harm than good. Boasting, particularly in old age, can alienate those around us, especially when it comes to younger generations who may already be navigating their own challenges. While sharing stories about successes and family is normal, constantly putting these achievements on display can make others feel uncomfortable or worse, inferior. There's a delicate balance to be struck here. People who boast frequently, especially about their children, finances, or past achievements, may not realize how their words affect others. It's especially important to be mindful of the fact that not everyone's journey is the same. Boasting about how well your children are doing might unintentionally make someone feel bad if their own family is going through hardships. Similarly, financial boasting can create a sense of resentment, especially if others are struggling with money. Think about it this way: when we boast, we often do it to elevate ourselves in the eyes of others. It's a natural human instinct to want recognition. But in old age, the true measure of dignity comes not from telling others how great our lives are, but from humility. This humility is what sets apart elders who are respected for their wisdom and generosity from those who are seen as boastful and arrogant. There's an important lesson here. The more someone feels the need to boast, the less substance their words often carry. While it might feel good in the moment to highlight our accomplishments or those of our children, it often backfires, leading to strained relationships. This can even drive friends away, especially those who may feel that their own experiences or challenges are being overlooked in favor of your triumphs. As we age, it's essential to nurture relationships, not alienate others through self-promotion. In reality, boasting doesn't add anything to our legacy. It's actions that speak louder than words, and those who have truly achieved something in life don't need to constantly remind others. Their presence, their humility, and their generosity naturally exude respect. These are the individuals who don't seek validation from others, because their accomplishments are already evident in the way they carry themselves, the kindness they show, and the wisdom they impart. Humility is the mark of true richness. There is a difference between being rich in material wealth and being rich in spirit. Those who are rich in spirit find fulfillment in sharing, not in showing off. They find joy in giving, not in bragging about what they have. In fact, studies show that as we grow older, the act of giving and supporting others, without expecting anything in return, can lead to greater emotional satisfaction and improved mental health. The ability to uplift others without needing to highlight our own successes is what defines a truly graceful elder. Another key point is that when we boast, we often assume that others will admire us for our achievements. But the opposite is often true. Excessive bragging can make others feel disconnected or even resentful, especially if they're dealing with personal challenges. For instance, when one friend constantly boasts about their children's success, it can create feelings of inadequacy in another person whose children might be struggling. It's important to remember that everyone's journey is different, and boasting often ignores the struggles others may be silently enduring. Instead of boasting, what if we focused on celebrating the successes of others? This act of generosity, of taking joy in someone else's accomplishments, reflects a deep inner confidence and grace. It shows that we don't need to prop ourselves up through bragging, but instead we lift others by acknowledging their achievements. When you take the spotlight off yourself, you'll notice how much more fulfilling conversations become and how much more meaningful your relationships grow. 3. Avoiding prejudice and judgment, cultivating insight and openness. As we grow older, it's easy to fall into the habit of making quick judgments based on our past experiences. After all, with a lifetime of knowledge behind us, we often feel we've seen it all. However, one of the most critical behaviors to avoid in old age is prejudging others based on limited interactions or preconceived notions. It's tempting to assume we know someone after a brief encounter or believe we understand their motives based on our own past experiences. But this kind of snap judgment can prevent us from truly connecting with people, especially the younger generation. There's an old saying that we all raise a few dogs in our hearts, and two of these dogs are named prejudice and bias. These dogs represent the filters through which we view others, often limiting our capacity to see people for who they really are. As we age, it's easy to let these inner companions guide our interactions. We might think we already understand someone's behavior based on past encounters, or assume certain traits about a person because of their background, appearance, or upbringing. But doing so not only harms our relationships, but also prevents us from growing as individuals. Prejudice is one of the most damaging behaviors because it creates walls between us and others. It traps us in a limited worldview where we stop learning and evolving. However, there's another dog we can nurture within ourselves, and that is insight. Insight allows us to look beyond surface-level interactions and see the full complexity of a person or situation. Instead of rushing to conclusions, cultivating insight helps us approach others with empathy, curiosity, and a deeper understanding. The problem with judging people too quickly is that it often leads to misunderstanding. For instance, we might encounter someone who doesn't immediately fit into our framework of what's normal or acceptable, and we make assumptions about their character. But think about it. How often have we judged someone incorrectly, only to later realize that our assumptions were completely off base? As elders, this can become even more pronounced, as we may rely on our past to dictate how we interpret the present. Here's the truth. The world is constantly changing, and so are people. When we rely too much on our past judgments, we risk missing out on the richness of new experiences and the wisdom others have to offer. Younger generations, in particular, live in a vastly different world from the one we grew up in, with new challenges, opportunities, and perspectives. By letting go of preconceived notions, we open ourselves up to learning from them, deepening our connections, and staying relevant in an ever-evolving world. Additionally, holding on to biases can lead to missed opportunities for personal growth. The very people we might prejudge could teach us something valuable, offer us a new perspective, or become important friends if only we take the time to understand them. By being open-minded, we don't just enrich our relationships, we enrich ourselves. Prejudice isolates us, but empathy and understanding bring us closer to others. It's also important to note that judging people based on limited interactions reflects negatively on us. People are multifaceted and complex. Reducing someone to a first impression or a surface-level characteristic is not only unfair, but also prevents us from seeing their true value. Instead of jumping to conclusions, we should approach every interaction as an opportunity to learn something new about the other person. This is especially true in our interactions with younger generations. As elders, we often feel the need to guide or mentor those who are younger, but we can only do so effectively if we truly understand where they're coming from. Rather than imposing our views or assuming we know what's best for them, it's far more beneficial to listen, observe, and offer advice from a place of empathy and insight. Breaking free from these habits of judgment requires self-reflection and awareness. It involves actively questioning our own thoughts and challenging the biases that we've accumulated over a lifetime. It's not easy. Biases and prejudices are often deeply ingrained, but it's a process worth pursuing. By doing so, we open the door to deeper, more meaningful relationships and an enriched sense of community. As we age, we should strive to be curious rather than judgmental, empathetic rather than dismissive, and open rather than closed. This is how we grow not only in wisdom, but also in emotional depth and kindness. Think of it as a chance to bring out that third dog, insight, which can chase away the narrow-mindedness that blocks our path to connection and growth. 4. Neglecting appearance. Maintaining dignity inside and out. As we move into our later years, it's easy to think that taking care of our appearance no longer matters. After all, the common sentiment is that inner beauty is what truly counts. But here's something many don't realize. Neglecting our appearance for too long can have a profound impact on both our self-esteem and the way we're perceived by others. It's not about vanity or trying to look young again. It's about maintaining a sense of dignity and self-respect. Taking care of our physical appearance is directly tied to how we feel on the inside. Think about it. When you take the time to groom yourself, whether it's a fresh haircut, wearing clean and neat clothes, or simply staying active, you feel more confident. There's a certain energy that comes from looking in the mirror and liking what you see, regardless of age. And this doesn't mean we need to chase after the latest fashion trends or look like we're 30 again. Rather, it's about honoring ourselves enough to present the best version of who we are today. For many elders, the shift in attitude toward appearance happens gradually. There's a moment where we may think, "What's the point anymore?" or "No one is looking at me anyway." But that mindset can lead to feelings of isolation, a lack of confidence, and even a sense of invisibility. However, just the opposite can be true. Taking care of your appearance is a form of self-care, and studies show that it's directly connected to our emotional health. When we look after our physical presentation, we're signaling to ourselves that we still matter, and we're showing others that we take pride in who we are. Now, it's important to acknowledge that as we age, our bodies change in ways we can't control. Wrinkles deepen, age spots appear, and our mobility may slow down. But embracing these changes gracefully doesn't mean letting go of self-care. In fact, it's even more reason to make small, manageable efforts in how we look and feel. For instance, walking more, staying active, and maintaining good hygiene are simple but powerful acts that contribute to both physical and mental well-being. This isn't just about how others see us, it's also about how we see ourselves. Emotional aging is a real challenge, and it often starts when we stop taking care of our appearance. When we feel old on the outside, that feeling seeps into our inner world, leading to emotional withdrawal, decreased confidence, and even depression. Research has shown that when older adults continue to manage their appearance, they feel more in control of their lives, experience improved mood, and are less likely to succumb to the feelings of decline often associated with aging. One key point to remember is that appearance management can prevent emotional aging. A clean, tidy, and put-together appearance sends a message not only to ourselves, but also to those around us. It reflects a sense of discipline, a desire to stay engaged with the world, and a commitment to living fully, no matter how many years we've lived. Let's talk about a simple example: visiting the beauty salon or barber. Something as small as getting a fresh haircut can have an incredibly positive effect on mood and outlook. We've all experienced that refreshing feeling after grooming ourselves. It's a form of renewal. Even individuals who have been bedridden for long periods often report feeling more alive and vibrant after simple acts of self-care like getting a haircut, trimming nails, or wearing fresh clothes. These little changes remind us that we are still active participants in life. It's not about trying to erase the signs of aging. Rather, it's about enhancing what we have. Aging gracefully doesn't mean giving up on how we look, but rather finding joy in taking care of ourselves. Whether it's wearing bright colors that lift your mood, taking care of your skin, or simply ensuring your clothes are neat and clean, these actions make a big difference in how you feel and how others perceive you. Here's something else to consider. Maintaining a tidy appearance helps instill trust in others. Whether we're meeting new people, engaging with family, or even making new friends in social settings, appearance matters. A well-groomed appearance speaks volumes before we've even said a word. It shows that we care about the details and that we take ourselves seriously. This doesn't mean dressing in high fashion, but it does mean dressing in a way that reflects self-respect. When we present ourselves well, we send the message that we are still active, engaged, and thoughtful individuals. Another fascinating insight is how appearance management can help regulate emotions. Taking care of how we look can help stabilize our mood, prevent depression, and even improve cognitive function. 5. Expecting automatic respect. Earning respect through humility and understanding. As we grow older, there's often an assumption that age alone entitles us to respect. In many cultures, age has historically been revered, with elders seen as the keepers of wisdom and guidance. However, times have changed, and while respect for elders remains a deeply valued principle, it's important to understand that respect today is not something automatically granted. It's something that must be earned continuously, even in our later years. Gone are the days when being older meant unquestioned authority. Today, younger generations are more independent, more curious, and more likely to question established norms. They often look for mutual understanding, empathy, and humility from those they engage with, regardless of age. In this context, expecting automatic respect simply because we have lived longer can actually create a divide between us and the younger people in our lives. So, what does it mean to earn respect in our golden years? It starts with humility and understanding. Rather than assuming that our years of experience alone will command respect, it's important to demonstrate that we are still willing to listen, learn, and even compromise when needed. This doesn't mean discarding our wisdom or letting go of the valuable lessons we've learned, but it does mean being open to the fact that younger generations have their own wisdom, perspectives, and experiences that deserve respect too. One of the biggest mistakes we can make as we age is clinging to outdated views of authority and status. While it's true that many elders have sacrificed a great deal to provide for their families and communities, demanding respect based on past deeds often leads to resentment. Younger people today respect actions and attitudes in the present. They look up to elders who are approachable, kind, and willing to engage with them as equals in a conversation, not those who insist that their opinion is always right, simply because of their age. Here's the key. Respect is reciprocal. If we want respect, we must show it in return. This means respecting the thoughts, feelings, and opinions of younger people, even if we don't always agree with them. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that because we've lived longer, we know better. But in reality, every generation faces unique challenges, and what worked in the past may not always be the solution for today's problems. By approaching younger people with an open mind and a willingness to understand their perspective, we foster mutual respect and build stronger connections. Let's talk about pride for a moment. As we age, it's natural to feel proud of what we've accomplished, whether that's raising a family, building a career, or contributing to the community. But when this pride turns into entitlement, it can drive a wedge between us and the younger people in our lives. For instance, if we walk into a room and expect to be treated with deference just because we're older, we might be disappointed when that doesn't happen. This disappointment can lead to feelings of frustration, which can come across in our demeanor and interactions with others, further alienating us. Instead of seeking respect through pride, the truly dignified elder is one who practices generosity of spirit. By approaching others with kindness, openness, and a willingness to listen, we naturally earn the respect we desire. When we lower our pride and meet people, especially younger generations, with humility, we create an atmosphere of mutual understanding and emotional well-being. It's not about demanding respect, but about inspiring it through our actions and attitude. Consider this. When elders display grace, kindness, and understanding, they attract respect effortlessly. It's not something that needs to be imposed. Younger generations are far more likely to look up to those who show wisdom through their demeanor, rather than those who demand it. In fact, some of the most admired elders are those who are generous with their time, who listen without judgment, and who offer advice when it's asked for, not when it's forced upon others. There's a growing generational gap, and it's important for us as elders to understand that respect comes not from age alone, but from how we navigate our relationships. Younger people today have different worldviews, different expectations, and different challenges than we did at their age. To bridge that gap, we must show a willingness to meet them where they are. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say or abandoning our values, but it does mean acknowledging that their experiences are just as valid as ours were when we were younger. Another crucial point is that respect can't be demanded. It must be inspired. Think about the elders in your own life, whom you admired most. Chances are, they weren't the ones who demanded respect, but the ones who earned it through their actions, humility, and understanding. They were the elders who shared their wisdom without arrogance, who listened as much as they spoke, and who treated everyone around them with dignity, regardless of age. Now, more than ever, it's important for us as elders to embrace the idea that respect is a two-way street. The younger generation will naturally respect us if we show them that we respect their ideas, values, and experiences. It's about creating mutual respect, not through authority, but through kindness and a willingness to connect. Let's also consider the negative stereotypes associated with aging, things like stubbornness, inflexibility, or shamelessness. These perceptions don't come from age itself, but from behaviors that reinforce these stereotypes. By actively working against these traits and showing humility, grace, and understanding, we break down those barriers and foster meaningful relationships with younger people. As we wrap up this section, remember, the path to a truly dignified old age isn't paved with demands for respect based on years alone. It's about continuously cultivating relationships built on mutual respect, empathy, and humility. By practicing these values, we naturally attract the respect we desire and build stronger, more meaningful connections with those around us. As we come to the close of this discussion on gracefully navigating the golden years, it's important to reflect on everything we've talked about and how each piece fits into the larger picture of aging with dignity and wisdom. Growing older is a journey that everyone must embark on, but the way we carry ourselves through this stage can deeply influence how we feel about ourselves and how others see us. We began by discussing the importance of not monopolizing conversations. As we grow older, the temptation to dominate discussions with stories of our past or our opinions can sometimes overshadow our relationships. But by listening more and speaking thoughtfully, we not only foster stronger connections with those around us, but also ensure that our words carry weight when we do speak. Learning to listen is a key component of growing old with grace, as it shows respect for others and reinforces mutual understanding. Next, we explored the issue of excessive boasting and the value of humility. While it's natural to feel pride in our accomplishments, especially in the achievements of our children or careers, constantly highlighting them can alienate us from others. Humility is a quiet strength that earns admiration far more than overt bragging. As we age, our experiences speak for themselves through our actions and our wisdom, not through endless recounting of past glories. Those who embrace humility find that respect flows naturally toward them, unforced and genuine. From there, we addressed the critical issue of prejudice and judgment. One of the biggest challenges in aging is avoiding the trap of thinking we've seen and experienced it all. The moment we start prejudging others based on limited interactions or our own past biases, we stop learning and growing. By cultivating insight and remaining open-minded, we break free from these limiting beliefs and open ourselves to the richness of new relationships and experiences. Aging gracefully means always being open to understanding the complexity of others and the evolving world around us. We also discussed the importance of maintaining our appearance, not out of vanity, but as a way of caring for our emotional and physical well-being. The way we present ourselves has a profound impact on how we feel inside and how others perceive us. Taking care of our grooming, staying active, and dressing in a way that reflects self-respect are all powerful ways to maintain our dignity in old age. It's a reminder that while we may not be able to stop time, we can certainly continue to nurture ourselves, inside and out. Finally, we explored the delicate issue of earning respect rather than demanding it based solely on age. Respect is something that grows through our actions, humility, and the way we treat others, regardless of age. The older generations have a tremendous amount of wisdom and experience to share. But we earn respect when we show empathy, kindness, and understanding in our relationships, particularly with younger generations. Expecting respect based on past achievements or age alone can lead to disappointment and disconnect, but a humble and generous spirit attracts admiration effortlessly.